Living near the sea all their lives, it is not surprising that many Channel Islanders have become fine sailors and yachtsmen in their time. Their love for the sea is still very apparent when almost every weekend during the summer you can witness yachts in full sail racing in the shadow of either St. Peter Port in Guernsey or in Jovin's Bay. It was a long time ago that the Channel Islanders were recognized as intrepid adventurers and seamen, for they used to sail in their small wooden boats as far as Newfoundland to fish the cod banks. Often away from their home island for at least 6 months, it was a hard life, but a life that bred into their sons and grandsons a tremendous respect and love for the sea. Of course, everybody has to start somewhere. Overlooking the harbour area in St. Peter Port is a large boating lake where youngsters come to sail model boats and the young at heart come to enjoy themselves on the lake. This scene certainly wasn't on the boating lake. This is the Sarnia, one of the 2 British Rail passenger boats that run regularly between Weymouth and the Channel Islands and operate excursions for holidaymakers. Because they're on the Channel Islands run, the boats are named after the 2 largest islands. St. Peter Port's Castle Cornet is a museum where models and old paintings of famous Channel Island vessels can be seen. It is ships like these that have played an important role in the history of Guernsey, and in fact the history of the Channel Islands. In both islands it is possible to see one of the world's oldest crafts still being practiced. Jersey and Guernsey have their own distinctive brands of pottery, and it is fascinating to watch the master craftsman at work, either making a mold or creating a beautiful object on the potter's wheel. The mold is first hollowed out in plaster before the vase or ornament can be truly fashioned. Such a job takes years of training, patience, and skill. Methods of making pottery were being used like this thousands and thousands of years ago, and have changed very little in that time. Secrets of the trade are jealously guarded and handed down from generation to generation. The potteries in both islands are open to the public, and a valuable afternoon can be spent watching the potter at work as he prepares the mold with infinite care, ready to fill it with slip. Slip is the technical word for liquid clay. After being filled, the mold is put aside to dry, and later the model is kiln-fired at a very high temperature. The opening of the mold after firing is the most important time for the potter, for it is then that he can see whether his model is as required. More often than not, it is, of course, for such men are highly skilled craftsmen and seldom make mistakes. The making of vases and modeling in clay is in itself a true art form, an art form in which the Channel Islanders can be justifiably proud. Clay is the basic requirement of the potter. Just watch as he converts this ungainly lump of clay into a beautiful vase, just by using his hands and his wheel. truly the birth of a beautiful object. After the shaping and the firing in the kiln comes the painting and the glazing. Infinite care is taken over the painting of the delicate models made in the potter's mould. Making Guernsey seem even more like a continental result are the grape vineries. When one thinks of grapes and the warm climate in which they grow, thoughts immediately turn to the south of France and Italy. But at one time, Guernsey was famous for the many vineries throughout the island. Grown under glass, the grapes matured very well because of the long hours of sunshine experienced in the island. The island of Guernsey is still known as the Island of Glass because of all the greenhouses. But now, instead of grapes, tomatoes have become the island's largest money-making export. The island is not famous for wine, but with a harvest like this, one never knows what might have happened had the Guernsey growers concentrated on their grapes. Grapes are still exported from the island of Guernsey, although not in as large quantities as earlier in the century, and not in as large quantities as the present-day figures for the export of tomatoes. Tomatoes have put Guernsey on the map, and the industry has grown from small beginnings to be worth over £8 million a year to Guernsey growers. Recognized throughout the British Isles as being prime fruit, Guernsey Toms are regularly bought by housewives everywhere between Land's End and John O'Groats. Naturally, the Guernsey tomatoes are grown under glass, and because of this, Guernsey growers are able to get their harvest on the market quicker than the English growers and even rival the Canary Island produce. Almost as famous, if not more so than the Guernsey tomato, is the Guernsey cow. Again, both islands are famous throughout the world for their own particular breed of cattle. Both island varieties are excellent milkers, but as far as world renown is concerned, the Jersey perhaps keeps the Guernsey a little in the shade. So jealous are the islands of their breeds that the local authorities refuse to allow any other breed of cattle into the islands, and thus pedigree herds are maintained. Milk from a Jersey or Guernsey cow is richer in cream and butter, fat than any other breed of cattle, and each year thousands of visitors are to be seen returning home with at least a couple of cartons of Jersey or Guernsey cream under their arms. Holiday Parade back in a moment.